Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the classic, the iconic mid-year reading tag. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, but I've been binging these videos on BookTube. I love them so much. This is such a fun trend, so I decided even though I'm late with it, it's my time. From what I understand, nobody really knows where these questions came from. We don't know how they came to be, they just are. They're sort of everywhere. But I got mine in particular from Carrie Can Read and What Emmy Reads. I combined theirs. Love them both. They're both such amazing booktubers. Before we get into the questions, I did want to share my crew neck because by the time this video is up, this will be out. I say this every time. This is a favorite of mine because the quality is just so good. This is the same vendor as our Reader V-neck sweatshirt. I just love this vendor. It has fun balloon sleeves and a collar. It says Dear Reader because that's just an iconic book line, but also it's for the Swifties a little bit too. It has fleece lining. It's very cozy, arguably a little too hot for this moment. If I look like I'm glowing, it's sweat. If you're looking for some new book merch that's very comfy cozy, you can get it for the colder months, or you can be like me and wear it and crank your AC in the house. I will link it in the description. The first question is best book you've read so far in 2025. I definitely could not just choose one for this. There is a top 3 I have chosen. That being said, there also is a number 1 that's a very clear winner. This will not come as a surprise to anyone, but that is Sunrise on the Reefing by Suzanne Collins. You already know what this is about, but we're getting the 50th quarter quell, we're getting Hamish's Games. We have had these games haunting the narrative throughout the original trilogy and the prequel, and I feel like everyone's expectations were so high, and she just blew those expectations out of the water. It was even better than I could have ever even imagined. The next one is a book I had just had so much fun with. I wanted to read more than I wanted to do anything else in the world, and that is one of the best feelings ever. It is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This is a YA fantasy. I was told it was very Cruel Prince meets The Selection, and having read it, I completely agree. That's a great way to sell it. It also takes place in the Victorian era, and the Queen has a season where she's hosting a competition for a bunch of eligible young ladies to try to win the heart of her son, who is the Fae Prince. We also get this magical aspect where the Queen grants bargains to these teenage girls as they're coming out into society. That was interesting, and aesthetically it was just a dream. We get balls, we get just magic, and it definitely falls into my Barbie movie book category. For my third book, this is kind of interesting because this was a reread of a reread. This was my third time with this book, and that is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It has never hit harder than it did last March. And maybe that was because I knew I was about to meet Cassie Clare, so the adrenaline was high, everything was great. All I did in March was make banana bread, do puzzles, and listen to this audiobook. It was so sacred. This also takes place in the Victorian era. It's a Shadowhunters book. I think this is the best series in the Shadowhunters world, and if you don't know what that is, this is a whole fantasy universe with characters that are part human, part angel, and they fight demons, but we also get so many other fantasy aspects. We have vampires, werewolves, fairies, and the way she writes yearning and forbidden love is unmatched. If you guys haven't met Will Herondale, you must meet him. The next question is best sequel you've read in 2025. Without a doubt, I am saying A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. I liked A River Enchanted. I liked it a lot. I gave it a 3-star, which is like just a good rating, but also I wasn't sure if I was going to continue the duology. What surprised me is that these characters would not leave my brain. I could not stop thinking about this story, so I decided to pick this one up. This is a very whimsical duology, and it's inspired by Scottish folklore. The island in this story is a magical, lush isle where every aspect of nature has a spirit attached to it. This also has a bit of a mystery aspect because the little girls on the isle are going missing. So we're getting human politics and why that might be happening, but we're also getting how the spirits might be involved and their politics as well. Some of the most beautiful writing I've ever read, and the action just really picks up in book 2, which is why I'm saying it's such a good sequel. For this question, I'm also going to say A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Technically, this is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, but from what the author has said and other fans have said, it really doesn't matter what order you read these in. This is such an epic fantasy world. It's so intricate. We get wars, we get dragons, dragon riders, and it has one of the most inclusive cast of characters ever. There's a lot of sapphic rep, which we love to see, and we get just all kinds of queer characters, and it's so comforting. Even when things go wrong, her writing is just very lyrical and lush. Cannot recommend this more. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. My number one is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know why I haven't started it yet, but I have given every single book of hers 5 stars, and I've heard that this one makes a lot of people cry, which is a green flag for me because I absolutely love crying. Also, I know I have an arc in the mail of Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. Cannot wait to read that. I'm probably going to start it as soon as it comes. And I was sent Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair, and I've seen a lot of good reviews. I love an urban fantasy. Sometimes I get a little wary with romantasy. As we know, I am always saying I'm scared of insta-lust, so we'll see how that goes. But I do love urban fantasy. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. There are so many good books, but at number one, we have Every Spiral of Fate by Tahira Mafi, which is the 4th book in This Woven Kingdom. I can't even think about it because I'm so excited. This Woven Kingdom is the it girl. I thought it would be all over this video until I realized I read it in like the last week of December of 2024. So I couldn't include it, but here I am finding a way to include it. This series is honestly for the hopeless romantics and for anyone who wants a series they can binge that will just feel like candy because you cannot get enough. This was inspired by Persian mythology, and we get a lot of character reveals, a lot of found family. There's great banter. You will laugh out loud. There's a little bit of dragons and also so much yearning. We also have Brimstone, which is Quicksilver book 2. I've heard this book, Immortal Consequences, is so good. It's about to come out. We have a new Shadowhunters book with a bunch of short stories, Better in Black, and then Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. All right, biggest disappointment of the year. I have 3. I was still really locking in on my taste in books as I read these, and all of these books kind of taught me be wary of these genres because maybe they aren't for you, and these embodied the things that I don't resonate with in those genres. First, we have Shield of Sparrows. I got right onto the hype train. I saw the TikToks about this. I got so excited, and I just wanted to own it because this is stunning. I absolutely love the cover. That's just gorgeous. This is very much a character-driven book. It's about a princess who is forced to marry a foreign prince to fulfill a treaty, and a lot of the book is just them journeying to his kingdom and her not being told anything. She also never eats. She just girly does not eat food, and that bugged me. And also I felt like a lot of the big reveals were fairly predictable. There just wasn't enough plot when it came to the fantasy world, and I didn't buy the romance, so it was just not the book for me. We also have Boys of Tommen. This was a sad realization for me because I bought the whole series and I was gonna binge it while Connor was out of town. It's a contemporary drama, not quite romance, but this is also YA, and I felt that the characters were very awkward together, and I needed to not read it anymore. It was very Wattpad, so I didn't finish it. We also have Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone, which is a contemporary romance where we have a girl in New York City. She's grieving her, I always get it mixed up with Passion Project. Her best friend. She's grieving her best friend, and I like that aspect of her having this healing journey, but basically the male main character just has no depth to him, and his purpose in life from the moment he meets her is to drop everything, and she's like the people's princess. She just drove me crazy. I didn't think the give and take was good. I really did not vibe with that book. Next, we have Biggest Surprise of the Year, and that is going to go to The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This is a debut fantasy, and I love it. I think about it every day, every single time I see a raven. I think about the ravens in this book. This isn't necessarily a girly pop fantasy like Throne of Glass, Cruel Prince, and it's also not the other end of the spectrum of like Brandon Sanderson or the Dune books, or I guess just like fantasy written by men. This is an epic high fantasy without a lot of romance, but also it has just enough. Tell me why I felt things at this tiny little subplot. Every 24 years in this kingdom, they have a competition where all of the best strategists and warriors compete to become the next emperor, but one of them dies. So we also get this crazy murder mystery where her death causes our main character to have to try to solve the mystery. She's very in the competition. There's so many trials happening. The pacing is it's just crazy. Like, you will never be bored. And we have an animal-based magic system, which I think is so one of a kind. It's the coolest ever, and the audiobook is so good. The next book also has a super cool magic system, and that is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. When this video is up, it will be out. This is a tarot card magic system, and it is genuinely the best enemies to lovers I have read. I want to say maybe ever. It is so fleshed out. It's not tropey at all, and it has this really cool academy setting. I love that book. And that they have like tarot card battles where they whip the card out and it has powers. It's just so cool. Favorite new author? I'm going to say Samantha Shannon. Her writing is just so beautiful and so epic at the same time. I want to read her other series, but I did start the first one. I wasn't super vibing with it. That being said, it was very much a fall moody read, so I'm going to try again. But as for this series, love her writing. And I have been waiting for this moment. Okay. We have Beth Brower, author of the Emma M. Lyon books. Her writing speaks to my soul in a way I can't explain. It reminds me of how I feel when I read Little Women, and her characters have so much depth to them. They feel like real people. She was just meant to be an author. Twist my arm, I'll read you a quote. He speaks words the way they pound in my chest, and it feels like a miracle finding such a dead part of oneself walking around in someone else's body. Newest fictional crush. Speak of the devil. I love Niall Pierce so much. I also love Henry Islington, the Duke of. All of the men in this series are incredible, but there's something about Pierce where the more I learn about him, the more I resonate with him. He has a lot of thoughts on the world that I relate to, and the way she writes about him is incredible. She always includes these metaphors of rainstorms and silver and dark clouds, and he's just very tortured and hot. I love him. And also Kalis from Arcana Academy. He is so Casbrecker Regulus Black. Also very tortured, very much a schemer. He has his own plans going on. He like despises himself. It's just absolutely delicious to read about. Newest favorite character? I just need to keep these books in my lap. Emma M. Lyon is so special. She reminds me of the March sisters, of Anne Shirley. She's a wild child. She's so funny. She refuses to subscribe to being proper, even when the whole world demands that from her. We need characters like this. She's just the ultimate girl's girl. She has such a big heart. I can't imagine life without Emma M. Lyon. In case you don't know what these are about, this is a book about a girl named Emma who keeps a journal. It's an epistolary format, so they are all her journal entries. She lives in Victorian London, and she just gets up to all kinds of shenanigans. It's very real life coded, but you will never be bored, and the found family is sacred. A book that made you cry. Obviously Sunrise on the Reaping, but we already talked about that. And this book made me cry just as much, if not more. And that would be The Sword of Kaigan by Emma Wong. If you liked reading about the political propaganda of the Hunger Games, but you like the culture and the magic system of Avatar: The Last Airbender, this is the book for you. I think this is the book for everyone. Her writing made me so happy and also so sad. This is heavy. There are a lot of very real and serious themes in it, and Emma Wong does not shy away from looking the darkness of the world right in the face, but I think it's so important. I love it. The only problem is that she hasn't written more in this world. This is all we're gonna get. A book that made you happy. I just want to say Emma M. Lyon again. That is really truly the answer. Nothing has made me happier this year, but there is something else that's a reread that has saved my entire year, and that is the Shadowhunter books. Nostalgia is my life force. Cassandra Clare is such a mystical being in my eyes. Every single time I've been sad or in a reading slump this year, I have read a Shadowhunters book. I think I'm like 12 books deep at this point. I'm trying to read all of them before her final trilogy comes out next year. Ghost from the Shadow Market is the book I read this year, and it was 5 stars because we get this Alec Lightwood story. If you know Shadowhunters, you know Alec, and that's my baby and I'm proud. I absolutely love reading about him, so that made me very happy. Books you enjoyed with mixed reviews. I really only have one that I feel like was extremely polarizing, and that would be Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. If you're watching this, you probably have thoughts on it. You probably know the discourse, but basically Emily Henry branched out of the romance genre and added a little bit of lit fic, a little bit of historical fiction, and some mystery into this one. And as someone who doesn't typically read romance books unless it's by Emily Henry, I'm realizing I just like whatever she writes. I ate this up. That being said, I do see why there's so many mixed reviews. I feel like she has such a brand, and you go into an Emily Henry book expecting a certain vibe based on what has come before. So it's just really interesting that she switched it up. I sobbed like a baby reading this. It made me so emotional because we get all these themes about going back home and going back to your roots. I really liked the parallel stories that happened. I thought it was just so well done. Most beautiful book you bought this year. I have a few. These are the loves of my life. Remember the Raven Scholar. I got this edition, Illumicrate edition. It's so purple and pretty. I love the sprayed edges. My absolute favorite part would be the hardcover where they showcase the animals that are in their magic system. This color palette, so good, and I got it for $22 on Mercari. So shout out to that seller for not marking it up. Collecting the Fairy Loot edition of the Mortal Instruments has been one of my life purposes this year, and it has taken so much effort and separate orders, but I've done it. Here they are. They have the classic, iconic Shadowhunters look on the edges, and they each have their own quotes. I got two to show you, and it's my two favorite characters. Alec Lightwood, of course. He's so perfect. I love him so much. And of course, his iconic perfect boyfriend, Magnus Bane. From day one, I have also been incredibly mesmerized by the Rose and Chains cover. It's the reason I bought the book, because if you've seen my last video, you might know that logically, I don't read dark romance. I didn't think I would love this, but I saw the cover, I bought this edition, and it was Infinity Stars. I just love it. It has such aura. The very last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I did make a list at the beginning of the year, but my taste has changed so much, even since January. Honestly, I think I just want to focus on rereads for the rest of the year. I'm currently reading Little Women, my favorite book of all time. I'm making my way through Throne of Glass and annotating the series. I'm on Heir of Fire. I would love to keep reading the Shadowhunter books. And as I was saying, I would like to try the Bone Season series again by Samantha Shannon. I'm just a little nervous about it because it had this vibe where he owned her. And I typically hate that, but then I gave this book Infinity Stars. I am genuinely drowning in piles of books right now all around me. They're giving me strength. That is going to be it for today's video. If you made it this far, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts are. Give me the tea, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.